pop up. And we'll get the live chat on here. Okay, we'll tap that. We are all set to go. How you doing, Sinfuls? Let's see, we'll get this going here. We got 5 people on board, 3 thumbs up already. We haven't even started. That's a good thing. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's see who we got on here. We got Craig Jordan on here. How you doing, Craig? Chuck619. Good morning from San Diego. Welcome, San Diego. Let's see. We'll see what we get for people on here tonight. We already got 5 on here. 37 seconds in. This week has been a busy week. We've actually had a lot of stuff going on this week. I've been running around, and we've done a lot of PRA stuff this past month too. So that's been keeping me busy. Mark is on board. How you doing, Mark? And Craig Jordan, Philippine Info Channel. Greetings, Steve. How you doing, Craig? Welcome aboard tonight. So hopefully this week is a little bit better than 2 weeks ago, because 2 weeks ago we had a troll on board here, and he just kind of wrecked things. But we still made it through it, so that's good. And we got Sinfuls back tonight, so everything should be okay. And we got Cliffy Mack on board. God, another accent. Love it. South Carolina, born in Lowell, Mass. There we go. I lived in South Carolina. I lived out in North Charleston for a while, and I lived on the base down there when I was down there. But I also owned some property down there, out on Dorchester Road, North Charleston. Michael L. says, good evening, Stephen. Cody Rodriguez says, hi. How you doing, Cody Rodriguez? Jack O., good morning from South Carolina. Wayne Bicknell, good morning from North Georgia. Wow, you got a lot of Southerners in here tonight. Cliffy Mack says, nice area. Yeah, I like South Carolina, Charleston, North Charleston. A lot of people don't like North Charleston. I actually kind of liked it. I don't know why. I just did like that area. It's changed a lot since I was down there. But I did like the Mount Pleasant area. I like Folly Beach and all that area down there. Cody Rodriguez says, hi. J Mac says, message retracted. Cliffy Mac says, Cosmic Dogs. There we go. Whatever that is. I've never heard of the Cosmic Dogs. Mark says, crossing things off my list. There we go. I remember when I was getting ready to leave, man, I had a lot of stuff on my my board. And it was starting to disappear towards the end. It was a good feeling when you get down to the end to actually leave. Wade and Bicknell, Yankee, Boston, living in the South. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of funny as a boss, somebody from up north, being down south in Charleston, South Carolina. A lot of people have a lot to say about that, and there really is like sometimes not. I wouldn't say it's a hatred, but there is kind of like a conflict between the two. You know. See, Mark today, life insurance. Cliffy Mack, hey Wayne, nice. Tom's away. Hello, I'm hanging in Iloilo this month. Iloilo is actually kind of cool, I heard. I haven't been back to Iloilo since the 1980s, and back then it was an armpit. I do know it's changed, and it's really different than what it used to be, and it has become a lot better. BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures wanted to know why you would give to a woman that you broke up with, and though not married, or even though, well, I've had a lot of people ask me, and we just did a story about that the other day. The reason why you do that sometimes is, over here it's different than the United States. If you're with a woman and you move them into your house, you at least got to send them home, number one. And number two, if you're with a woman for several years, and some guys have been with women for like 5 or 10 years or whatever, it's hard for them to get back on their feet. It takes a couple years sometimes for them to get a job. It really does. It takes a while for them to get a job. Sometimes when you apply for a job, it takes you a year to go through the process to start the actual job. For any of these businesses and stuff like that, it takes sometimes a year. So if you're lucky, you might be able to start in a couple of weeks, but most of the time for a good, decent job, it takes 6 months to a year to get on the job. And it takes a while to find a job too. And some guys come over here and they make a woman quit their job. And that's why I've been talking about that, because you can't just have a woman quit her job, move in with you, and then 2 years later throw her out the door because things aren't working out, and think that you can just throw her on the streets. That's my opinion. You could do it if you want to, but that's my thoughts on that. J Flo, hey GM. J Max's computer issues on my end. Tried to say a Mainer is online. There we go. Actually, my home address is actually up in Maine. That's my mailing address. My sister. BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures. I don't get it. You have to pay a woman you're not even with anymore. I'm not saying every situation is the same. There are women, if you let the woman work while you're still with her, then I don't think you should have to. I'm saying if you got involved with a woman and you had her quit her job, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Keith Richard, any good Thai or Vietnamese restaurants in Manila? There actually is. They have a restaurant chain now that's going around. It's called Hidden Vietnam, and it's actually in our area, and I'm not sure where else it is. But there's quite a lot of these in Cavite, the Cavite area, okay, up near Dasma. Wayne Bicknell says, grew up in the Bahama Islands, so I do not sound like a Yankee. There we go. I've been over to Nassau in the Bahamas there. I liked it over there, actually. Craig Jordan, the Philippine Info Channel. I was actually over there twice. The Philippine Info Channel, I suggest doing a language course on speaking Boston. Like Bara, Ka, Havidyad, Bia, Ba. Wayne Irvin, hey Steve, how you doing, Wayne? Good to see you on here tonight. Cliffy Mack, so I will be in Cavite PH in November. There you go. See, you're learning already. Philip Macy, hey Steve, you have great content. Keep it coming. Thanks, man. It's hard coming up with content lately when you've done 1,400 videos, but we keep on digging, and we just, on some subjects we just go deeper on it, and it's kind of fun actually digging into deeper to that stuff. J Flow, Steve, I'm considering moving to PH. How much do you pay for full coverage insurance? Full coverage insurance, I pay about $1,200. I actually got the bill sitting right over here. It's about $1,200 for my insurance. If I wanted to get really good coverage, like $500,000 or something like that, I think it'd be like close to $3,000, something like that per year, which isn't that bad actually. BT and Betty's Adventures, I'm over here, and wouldn't it be break it off? And I would, it'd be break it off clean, I think, something like that. I can't make out what the problem is with your name. Your name is so long, BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures, that it cuts off some of your thing for some reason, because your name is so long. So it kind of, I can't make out what it's saying because there's something in there that's missing, like a couple words. Todd Tomato, hello all. Wayne Bicknell, I missed the Philippines, visited Manila, Cebu so many times while working for Coca-Cola. The Philippines is a fun place, man. BT and Betty's Adventures at Rocky Road and sets up some expats for bad things. That's a rocky road. I disagree with you. I mean, I'm not saying for everybody to give money to their ex. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're with a girl for a couple months or something like that, at least sending her home is the proper thing to do. Okay? I'm not telling, if you've been with a woman and you've lived with her for 5 years or 10 years or something like that, or even 3 years, and you break off, depending on the breakup and the way it broke off, if you're still friendly, I think you at least owe her some help to get back on her feet, because over here they don't have jobs as easily as they do in the United States. It's a different ball game over here, so I strongly disagree with that. Michael L. BT, think of it as severance pay. There you go. And it's really up to you. If you don't want to, that's your thing, you know what I mean? I'm just saying I think it's the proper thing to do for some people. Not all, some. If she's working, then you don't owe her anything. Gordon Stefan, what's the best home internet? Converge. I think Converge is pretty good. PLDT has its issues. Converge, it's been pretty steady for me so far, which is good. Cliffy Mack, nice Rolling Stones in the room. Let's see. Sinfuls, this speaks to Steve's character and decency that is trying to make sure she will be fine. And it is part of your character too. It really is. I mean, to just to boot a person out in the streets and say, hey, goodbye, I don't think that's the right thing to do. And some of the women over here, man, they probably, deserve it. I've seen a couple women really mistreat their men really bad. And that happens sometimes over here too, BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures says, I don't pay any woman. I'm not married. Severance. Do you? Let's see. J Flow. We already went through that. So, J Flow, what I heard is there is a new PH law that if you uproot a girl from her job, move to you, she can sue you for I sought monies, it says. Is that accurate, Steve? I think there is some law on the books, lost monies. I think there is some law on the books, and like I said, I just think it's the proper thing to do. Cliffy Max says Nassau, then Freeport. Yeah, I think it was Nassau I was in. It was some big casino there, the big casino with the thing underneath it, the big arch. That's where I was. Is that Nassau? I think it was. It's been years, probably like about 10 years since I've been there. BT and Betty's Adventures, decency is not service. It's sad that would fall into that teep. Okay. Francisco Fletes is on board. Welcome aboard, Francisco. It's good to see you back online here with us. We'll have to hook up soon. J-Flow, $1,200 or pesos monthly. No, not that much. I think enough to just get them on their feet and help them is more than enough. And set a respectful time. Mark, positive attitude, great, but difficult perspective. In a past relationship with a Filipina, she walked out without warning, so I had her still pay rent. Okay. You know, it's a thing where you have to kind of decide on what's going on in the relationship too. If she's doing damage to you, then you can always walk away. Sinful says Steve made his choice, so leave it at that and respect the decision. Exactly. Justin in Arkansas says, hi all, sitting 40 feet from ground zero. BT and Betty's Adventures, I think it's admirable but not necessity. Filipinos can take care of themselves. No, I don't think all of them can sometimes, especially when there's kids involved and stuff like that. K Fox, hi Steve, how are you? In regards to your last vlog, I have to agree with what you said in your last vlog. Everybody can input, even critique, without having any bad response from your side. Exactly. BT and Betty's Adventure says, don't think they cannot. They are strong people. I disagree with you on that. I don't think throwing a woman in the streets, she's going to go someplace and find a place to go, and I think it'd be substandard. I think it's just the right thing to do, man. I mean, this isn't a fight. We just, that's what I think. It's my thoughts, and that's it. You can do what you want to do when you go through it, and that's your decision. And that's what I said. It's everybody's decision. Philip Massey, Steve, where can I meet a nice Filipina? Should I come to the Philippine city first, then go online to find a woman interested in the area? Actually, you know what? If you're gonna find a good woman over here, you'll find one, and you don't need to go online any place to find one. You'll find one walking around, talking to people, and making friends. And that's probably the best way to find a woman over here, actually. K Fox says, great job, Steve, even if I also give critique sometimes. Okay. Justin Anaka, sometimes the payoff can cut down on her revenge. Yes, that's true. It can help out with things like that, because a lot of things go on with different guys. We actually have a couple, actually like 4 guys that I know of that are going through that, and I think it actually with those guys, I had told them before, and they said no. Some of them had said that they weren't going to pay anything, and the revenge that's going down on those guys is really, really difficult. So I think it's right, just what Justin said just there. One of the guys said one time, one of the subscribers said, what is it? Filipinas love hard, but they hate harder. And that's kind of true. There is a truth to that. Pee Wee Barnes says, is tickling normal in the Philippines? It says, tried to tickle me. I'm not sure. Leonard Marlin, hello everyone. Guess I'm running late with. Hope your trip home is successful. Sinfuls, get well. Enjoy your mother and father. Let's see, I don't think he went home. I don't know. Tony C, hey there from Marlborough, Massachusetts. J Flo, no, that was the insurance. Okay. Sinfuls, Leonard Marlin, thank you. J Flo, not the severance for the chick. Oh, okay. Yeah, $1,200 is what I pay for insurance, man. Francisco Fletes, on most things in the Philippines, I agree with Steve. This is one of those things, decent thing to do. If you can't afford it, then of course not. Yes, exactly. But if you can help a bit, why not? And that's what I'm saying. It's to each his own. I mean, if you can't afford it, then obviously you're not going to. If it's going to cut into your pay, and the way you live and stuff like that, obviously you're not going to be able to do it because you can't. And that's the thing. That's some people can afford it, some people can't. But if you can afford a few bucks each month to help her out, that might be the thing that helps her enough to survive every month. Wayne Bicknell says that casino was in Nassau. I was there on Eleuthera, about 50 miles south of Nassau. Philip Massey says, I saw my big fat Filipino life's latest post, and it seems he was offended by something you said about him. I don't talk about him. I don't even know who he is. I find his content quite unoriginal myself. I don't even know who that guy is, and I haven't talked about him, so I don't know. Tom's away. Jay, I think it's $1,200 per year for insurance. Yes, that's about what I pay, and I get about 27,000 U.S. coverage. Okay, so it's not too bad. BT and Betty's Adventures. You can help out, but don't owe anything if you break it off. Yeah, you don't owe them. It's helping them to get their feet back on the ground. Riley, your life here can be very easy or very hard. A lot. It depends on your lifestyle. It's what you make of it. Exactly. Craig Jordan, the island suddenly becomes a lot smaller in personal relationship with a Filipina. Think it over well how you do a separation with a Filipina. Exactly. Some of these guys, man, that are going through some of the stuff that they're going through right now, you would not want to go through. And sometimes it's easier to just help out the person rather than go through the hell that they'll put you through. Some of these women, the guys have put homes in people's names and stuff like that, and that's one thing I've warned against. I rather see people rent than do it the other way, because when you go through hell, man, you're going to go through it really hard and fast. BT and Betty's Adventures is how much do you think, Steve, you give her, and how long? Again, I can't see what it says after Steve. Is another word there, but I'm going to go, again, that's till she gets on her feet, and if she doesn't get on her feet within a reasonable amount of time, that's when you cut her off. It's really up to you, so I don't have any set time, it's up to the person, okay? Anthony Thompson, good morning in Dallas, Texas. Philip Williams, evening, bro. How you doing, man? Eric, it's easier breaking up if you're single, and it's easy for her to get a job, etc. Middle class, educated girl. Yes, and that's the problem. A lot of girls here don't have the education. They're not going to find a job that fast, and it's going to hurt them more. Lazy Larry is in the house. How you doing, Larry? BJ, hello, Steve. Good morning. Nice to catch you live. Thank you, man. Lazy Larry says, hi, Sinfuls. Sinful says, hi, Larry. Sinful says, let's hit the thumbs up, folks, please. We're 35, and we got 94 people on board. Wow, we grew quick. Leonard Marlin says, I always to this day have manned up and took care of business. Always took care of my exes and our kids until they can take care of themselves, especially my kids. Exactly. And I kind of feel that way, and I think a lot of expats here don't man up sometimes. They think like you're an idiot if you do man up and take care of a girl for a while or something like that. And I think that's the right thing to do sometimes, is just do what's right and help the person get back on their feet. Hell, back in the United States, over here we just a lot of guys live with a woman, and a lot of them get married too. And a lot of guys over here decide to just do the living thing, and after 5 years they dump the girl, and they don't give them anything sometimes, and that's rough. It's rough on the girl. Jack O says, what are your thoughts about a Pinoy guy, white wife, living in the Philippines? I don't have a problem with that, man. Not at all. I've seen it. I've actually know of a few. Daniel Netz, just curious if you're purposely skipping my comments. You did it twice already. I did not see your other comments, brother. Daniel Netz, sorry if I skipped over. I've seen this one right here, and I'm reading it right now. I think I've read every comment. I thought I did anyways. If I did miss it, I'm sorry. Eric, I only date professional middle-class girls. Sinfuls, I am going home in September. Okay, I gotcha. Riley, it depends on the situation if you help her or not. Exactly. Philip Williams says, maybe I am lucky. Met a great wife, been together 8 years, built house and life. You can certainly do it and thrive here. BT and Betty's, I agree, Riley. Let's see. Sinfuls. Philip Williams agreed. Being together now for 17 years. Sinfuls has had a long, happy marriage for 17 years. He's very lucky. Let's see. Fitz from Florida says, just hit 1 month here at country and BGC. Life is good. Zero complaints. Eric, if you get involved with poor girls, they become dependent on you. So that's the thing, Eric. You're right on that. Exactly. You know, I think a lot of guys over here that go with the girls that are less educated, they have a harder time getting a job and getting back on their feet. BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures. Who is she to you? What should you do to feel right about it? I think he wrote. Again, your thing gets cut off somewhat, so I don't know what the whole thing is. Like I said, it's a decision you got to make yourself. You know, there's no, you know, I don't want to throw somebody in the street and then not feel right about it later and regret it. You know what I mean? Because you're going to hurt somebody. That's the way I feel about it. Philip Williams, the key is to have enough to retire, look after the family, and make a good life there. Exactly. The key is actually to find the right woman in the beginning, and then you don't have to go through that stuff. BT says, I don't think it's a have to put if you cutting the ties. You like, again, you can do what you want. Leonard Marlin, I think that subject's already been over like quite a lot tonight, probably too much. Leonard Marlin, if I was in the States, I would be responsible for child support, so why would it be any different here in the Philippines? And it's much cheaper here too, Leonard. It's much cheaper here. Back in the States, you would really get hit a lot. Brent, hello from Minnesota. Philip Macy, Steve, do you ever visit other islands in the Philippines? I have. Yes, I have. When I was younger, I did actually. I don't go around that much because when I was younger, I traveled a little bit around the Philippines, down to Panay, Boracay, Aklan, Iloilo, all around that area there. I didn't go to a lot of the other islands, but I did go around Luzon a lot. You know, once you've been in one place here, you kind of been to all of them. You know what I mean? I know what the beaches look like here. You know, I've been around enough. I'm not like a big travel person. I travel a little bit now. I've been up to Zambales and places like that. But I don't, you know, I go down to Batangas. I've been, like I said, I've been to Boracay. I just don't have the inkling to really travel that much, you know. BT and Betty's Adventures, just giving you a hard time, Steve. Like videos or I wouldn't be here. Okay, thanks, man. I'm just saying, man, I think we just kind of beat that subject to death, you know. So, Eric, Filipina just have the same trait. Filipina have just the same traits as Western women. The jealousy is ridiculous. With culture, it can be hard to take. Yes, it can. BT says, anyhow, thanks, Steve. I'm not married and not leaving my wife. Okay, good, man. Mark, a decent person doesn't want to see anyone homeless. I agree, man. That's the truth. I'd never want to throw a girl in the streets and see that. I'd never want to see that. Never, ever, ever. Especially with his kids involved. Semperfi. Jimbo, wow, all this breakup talk is just bumming me out on a rainy morning here in Chicago. Yeah, that's why I said we should probably change the subject, man. Syphilis, let's hit the thumbs up, please. Bob, hello from Las Vegas. There we go. We got a lot of people here from Las Vegas. I don't know if you guys know that or not. We got 2 thumbs up from BJ, BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures. Jimbo, it can happen anywhere. Yes. Me and Betty coming to Cavite. Would love to meet you, brother. Yeah, we can, man. If you let me know in advance, okay? I travel a little bit every so often now, occasionally. And I'm planning on doing another trip here pretty soon, probably towards the end of the month or whatever. So we'll see what happens, you know. Eric, you need to be respectful at all times. We are not in our homelands. A province girl will be pinning her future on you, so be respectful. Exactly, man. It's about respect. You know, like we're number one, we're not in our country. A lot of guys come over here when they dump a girl, they just, you know, they don't care. You know, they go into a relationship just strictly for the sex, and then they dump the girl. And I think it's unfair to some of the women here to treat women like that, to just use them for a month and then throw them in this, you know, get rid of them like they're a piece of trash. I think when you're dealing with people that are in poverty, you cannot do that to them. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. Francisco Fletes, if you are on a tourist visa, you can become an undesirable alien real quick if you're an a-hole on the way out of a relationship. Handle it carefully. Just don't be vindictive. And also, it kind of marks us as Americans too. Mark, July 22nd will be 6 years married. There we go, man. Coco Girl, hello from Henderson, Nevada. J Flo says, what is it that with all the drama, with all the vloggers, it seems like a lot of expats are fighting over stupidity? I noticed that too, J Flo, because I've been dragged into it a little bit, and I don't really talk that much about the other vloggers. And in fact, one of the guys just said about something about the big fat Filipino vlogger or whatever his name is. I don't know that guy. I've heard of him, but I've never made any comments about that guy. And I guess he's pissed at me for something. A lot of people don't like my views because they hold the views of, like we were saying about, possibly throwing a girl in the street, or they don't like my tipping views. I talked about that the other day too. They think I'm going to change the whole country, or for the next guy that comes into the area. They think the way you treat women, it's going to wreck it for the next guy. If you treat a woman good on the way out, it's going to be expected from the next guy. And it probably should be expected in some cases, because you should be treating a woman decent, whether she's coming in the door or going out the door. Have some respect for people is the way I look at it. Tom's Away, it's good for views. Yeah, that's part of it. Tom's Away, they're like trashing people because of that. Philip Massey, how's your back feeling, Steve? Did the chiropractor help? Yes, I've seen him 3 times already. I'm going back probably tomorrow. I'm considering going tomorrow. I noticed that the shooting pains have gone away. I noticed that my back has loosened up. I still have a lot of pain when I get up in the morning. I think it's the way I sleep. I think I need to lose a little bit of weight too, because of my mattress. But yes, I'm feeling better. Thank you. Tony C. Steve, how do you like Boracay? I'm going with my girl in December when I get there. I actually liked it back then. I heard it's changed a lot. That was back in the mid to late 80s, somewhere around there. I think it was the late 80s. And it was like Gilligan's Island back then. It was different. They didn't have McDonald's and Pizza Hut. They had a guy on the island that had a brick oven pizza that was really good. And he was about 80 years old and was married to like a 23-year-old girl. Bijan Bain says, Massachusetts is in the building. I'm in Thailand, but headed to the vineyard in a few weeks. I used to live in Hyannis when I was a kid. Not in the vineyard. I was over in the vineyard a few times. I was actually selling newspapers, and they let me on the boat before it would leave to sell newspapers to all the customers on the boat. The guy would let me on, and he had forgot that I was on the boat one time, and the boat took off with me, and then came back. He stuck me on another boat right back afterwards. I never told my mother about it because my mother would have killed me. But I remember that, and I was with my friend, fortunately. He was actually on the boat that time because he was going over with his mother, so I got to sit with him, and I told him the story. He goes, you better not tell your mother. I'll never forget that story, though. Steve Hughes, you tried turmeric yet, Steve, for your back? I actually got turmeric right next to me, right here. Yes, I do take turmeric. I got it around here somewhere. I got a box of it. And yes, that has helped. It helps with the inflammation. I put ice on it every morning and at night. William, good morning, good evening. How you doing, William? Kevin Nash's Kitchen, good thing they don't have palimony laws. Yes. BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures, I'll be there for the 20th, Devil Dog. I'll be gone till the 21st. From the 18th to the 21st, I think, this month I'll be gone. If you need to get in touch with me, though. You can email me at Steven5975 and give me a yell on the phone, okay? And we can talk then, all right? That's the best way to contact me. Steven5975 at yahoo.com, and then we can talk on the phone. And I'll be around here. I just won't be here in Tracy Martirez. Dickie Spaz says, Jay, all the more reason to stay away from Dramageddon. Yes. Dumageddon is actually getting a bad rap lately, very bad, from everybody that has told me that they want to go there because they said that they thought they would like it there better. They actually moved out of there within 2 or 3 months. Eric, there's a lot of jealousy here in the Philippines with expats. Yes, I've had guys say about no splashing the cash, etc. As soon as a guy can afford a nice car, house, he tends to do it. There's no problem. It's not about splashing the cash. It's about throwing it at people. A lot of guys come over here and they throw cash at people and they wreck the dynamic of the neighborhood or whatever. So we had a guy here that just splashed cash all over the place. Bought a Filipino guy some property bought him a car, has him working for him, and he kind of bought a family, and it was a guy that was helping me, and afterwards it kind of put a poison in the culture around this neighborhood. It just wrecked everything, because everybody, he didn't want to work anymore because the other guy was giving him cash while we were helping him to make cash and helping him to make money and teaching him how to run a business and start a business. And he would have had a really good business had this guy not got involved. Stacy says, doesn't expat need a visa to move into assisted living? No. You need a visa, obviously, like at least a tourist visa or something. You'd probably have to leave every so often or whatever, every 36 months. You can come over here. If you're going into assisted living, you could probably come in here on the SRV retirement visa. And if you need help with that, we do it. I can help you do it. Okay, Stacy, if you need information on that, again, Steven5975@yahoo.com. And if you want to talk to me more about that, there's actually quite a few of those in Tagaytay, and there's some other ones around here too, but I'm not sure where they are. I think there's one in Dasma. Philip Massey, it's amazing that anyone is still watching World Zoom since he clearly left the Philippines. And appears to be doing videos out of his mom's kitchen in Indiana. Do you think his visa renewal was denied? I have no idea, Philip, I didn't think that he was out of here. I heard he was still in Dumaguete, actually, so I don't want to even comment on that. I believe in giving people a second chance. I stated that when I stated what I stated about him. He come out and he stated what he stated. I don't agree that everything that he said is the truth. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm going by what it says in the newspaper. And the newspaper, I would take that more as the gospel sometimes. I know he's probably trying to cover things up because he doesn't want people to think he's a total jerk or whatever. And I'm not saying he is or isn't. He may have moved on. I wish the guy the best, and give the guy a shot now. You know what I mean? That's the way I feel about it. I spoke about it because of what I read in there. It was about stolen valor or something. He said it's not. He did say he was an officer in the military. Who knows? Only he knows. Lloyd Daly, can I stay in the Philippines for my 6 months just by renewing my visa? Yes, you can stay up to 36 months on a tourist visa. Okay? Let me see. Michael L. A possible issue with province girls is that when they want to, will want you to move to the province, and the internet connectivity in the province sucks. Yes, a lot of guys. We actually have a friend of mine, Tom. He lives out in the provinces of Mindanao, and he's having a little bit of a hard time living down there. He loves his girlfriend down there. He loves living there. He likes the lifestyle down there, but he has a hard time with some things down there. And I think he kind of wishes he kind of lived up this way, I think, because I think he misses being around people and stuff. And he's a real nice guy, and he's from Massachusetts too. So if you're out there, Tom, we're thinking about you, bud. Francisco Fletes, thanks, Steve. Glad to be back, touching base with you guys. Francisco, we're going to be doing a dinner soon, so I'll let you know, and I'll keep you in the loop, brother. Maybe we'll do like a small get-together too, if we can get some of the guys together. Eric, I presume you're doing exercises for your back. I try to as much as I can. I think the walking helps the most. Sinfuls, there is a new brick oven pizza place near my house. That sounds cool. Let's see. Sinful, so good. Riley says, I stay away from expats. Too many problems and too much drama. I mean, I can understand why. I have my days sometimes where I feel like walking away from some of the expat drama here. But, I love a lot of the expats here, too. It's just, that's why sometimes we throw some people out of the group. And people say, well, why would you throw people out? Because for the drama. I didn't come over here to have drama in my life. And I'm sure most people would agree with that. So when you see people that cause problems in your group, or they're doing things that are just kind of wrong or nasty, it can cause a lot of grief in your life. And after a while, you just got to boot them out. And we've had that happen on a few occasions. And sometimes when you throw somebody out and other people are still hanging around with them, friends of your enemy are still your enemy. So you kind of have to throw those people out too. And it actually worked, So Brent says, hang from a bar. It will do wonders to decompress your low back and help your shoulders as well. I agree, Brent. I'm going to actually be doing some decompression stuff at the physical therapy, hopefully this week. The doctor is constantly out every time I go there, or they say I missed her I was supposed to come in on another day, but I think the lady misquoted me the days, because we've been in there like 4 times already, and every time I go in there, the doctor's not there. Eric says it is not permanently rammed in Boracay. Not sure what that means, but BT and Betty, have you ever seen Barry in the Philippines, who I'm visiting there? Barry in the Philippines. I might. I'm not sure. Sounds familiar. Mercury, I've met a lot of people, in the past 5 years, and so many so that I don't remember a lot of them. Mercuria 1234, hey, from New Zealand, heading to Iligan and very soon. Iligan. Lennon Marlin says, everyone have a wonderful night. Wife's calling me. It's date night. Take care. God bless, man. Have a good time on your date, man. BT says he is 80 and a great guy. Check him. Maybe I'll check him out, man. I don't usually have time though to check out other vloggers. People think like I watch all these other vloggers, and I've gotten blamed a lot for commenting on vloggers that I've never even watched, which is really funny. Sun Moon, good evening, Steve. That shows you how gossip works. Some other guy that wants to cause some trouble will say, hey, Steve said this about you, and it's totally untrue. Sinful's night, Leonard Marlin. Eric, Boracay was rammed when I was there, but crammed. Okay, I gotcha. I think you mean crammed anyway. I think it's spell check or whatever. Sinful's put up the email address there, Steven5975@yahoo.com. So if anybody needs to contact me, it takes like 2 or 3 days for me to get back to you. Sometimes more, sometimes lately, because of the back issues. I haven't been able to do the emails as much as I want lately. BT and Betty's, I'll be there a week and I'll send you an email. Okay, gonna be staying at Alfonso. I'm not too far from there. I'll let you know if email me before then and give me a call, and I'll talk to you about where I'm staying. Okay, Craig Jordan. It depends on your taste in travel. Station 1 is luxury hotels and resorts. Fitz from Florida. Lloyd, yes, I just renewed my first tourist visa, and it took longer to ride up and down the elevators than it did my next 30 days. Next time I get 6 months. Super friendly, super easy. J Flo says, what's the biggest difference between Cebu City and Makati? Wow, Makati's a really nice town. I think it has a lot more to offer than Cebu. That's just my opinion. I've not been down to Cebu, but I've talked to a lot of people about it, and I know from talking to people, they say that they liked Manila a lot better. Some people do like Cebu better, but I mean, a lot of people said that they think Manila and Makati and the Manila area is a lot better. Sunny G says Starlink is working good in the province. That's good. Sinful's BT and Betty's Philippines Adventures, Alfonso, only about 10, 15 kilometers away from Steve's area. It's not that far. BT and Betty's Cebu is not Makati, completely different. Yes, I agree. It's completely different. Makati's a very more high-end, I think, than Cebu. Cebu has a lot of poverty in some sections, although they're doing better on that. J-Flo, what? That is why I'm asking. LOL. Sinfuls, Craig Jordan. Yes, Craig, nice area, but the Lynn Boracay is awesome. Edward Levin says message retracted. Ryan on Wi-Fi. Who is the sick grandpa guy? I don't even pay any attention to that guy, to be honest with you. I don't even, that was the guy that we had to kick. It seemed like he was the guy that was attacking the channel a ways back, and he also had some other show too, and he just hammers everybody here, and most of the people that he hammers are actually halfway decent people, which is the funny thing that he knows nothing about. Our channel helps more people for free probably than any other channel out there. We donate our whole day for these people that do the SRV visas, and we do it for absolutely free. The ads pay for me to take the time up to go up there. I don't take any tips from these people or nothing. And this guy's like attacking me. He sees me up in Quezon City. He's got me as homeless and living on the streets of Quezon City, and a bunch of other stuff he says too. The guy's that's why they call him Sick Grandpa, because he is. Philip Massey, I had a bad sciatic, Steve, and what really happened to me was the cortisone shot in my back to reduce the inflammation. Then had physical therapy afterwards, and it made a world of difference to end the pain. To get back to the sick grandpa, it's malicious what he's doing because it's wrong, you know. But if somebody says something about that guy, then you know he goes after you more. That's why I'm very careful on here to not even bother with the guy. I don't think we should even have covered what I just said, but I mean, that's the story about that. And see, BT Betty's, yeah, it's so close. Maybe we can do it. Okay, Tom's away. We'll see. You have to give me advance notice though. Okay, and you know, Tom's away. Makati has better mass transit than Cebu City. Makati has a lot better everything than Cebu. It's a totally different, like I said, totally different area. Cebu has its pluses and minuses though. I think there's less pollution in Cebu. Roseville Raider, is anyone watching David Bond's Harem Quest? He said I'm not even going to get into this, man. Lloyd Daly, you just skipped over my question. I did not see it, Lloyd. And I'm pretty good on answering things, dude. Ask the question again. Francisco Fletes, my best friend lives in Dumaguete. I visited him a couple times there. To me, it feels like a vacation spot. It's really small, and I feel like if you get tired of living there, no SNR, few restaurant. BT, send it again, LOTD. BT Lloyd, let's see. Craig Jordan, J Flo, Makati is a financial capital of the Philippines. Exactly. It's totally different living than Cebu. I wouldn't even put it on the same level. Same with BGC. RC, too bad for PAX. Sinfuls, Roseville Raider is, if so on David Bonds, then gives expats a bad image, sadly. Edward Levinson, Ed, hey fellow masshole, leave that out. Too late. How'd you discover PI back in the 80s? I was there in the military then. Not too many younger U.S. tourists back then. No, I served with a lot of people that were in the Philippines, and I served with a lot of Filipino cooks because I was a cook. And I got to know them and heard a lot of good things, and I thought I'd come over here and try it out, and I did. I actually married a Filipina, and it lasted about 10 years, and then we broke up. Stuff happens, you know, but I still never gave up. So, let's see, PH Expat Prepper, I have 500 Mbp fiber that is solid out of the province of Luzon. You can get good internet in some places, and in some places, man, it sucks bad, especially down in Mindanao, I heard. Eric, what a horrible thing to say about women and virginity. Ridiculous. I don't watch that guy, Bond. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. J-Flo, those are the kind of guys that I have no respect for here in the Philippines. I really don't. You know, I just don't have any respect for people that talk like that. You know, it's just, you know, we're older gentlemen here, 50s, 60s, 70s, and older in some cases. You know, and you know, people need to grow up at some point, really. Jay Float, thank you, Craig Jordan. Joe Porter, good morning from Central Texas. How you doing, Central Texas? Mike says it's good to finally catch a live stream. Good to have you on here, Mike. BT and Betty never had a problem with the internet in the province. Sinful says, Mike Lauderdos, good to have you here. Michael L says, let us can the chismis about other bloggers. Exactly. It is not contrary to the spirit of this channel. This channel, and Michael's right here, it's very seldom that this channel will talk about other vloggers. Very, very seldom that we talk about vloggers, and sometimes it's actually by accident because the one person I didn't even know he was vlogging, and I happened to speak about him. And that other guy, the World Zoom guy, that was something that somebody, a subscriber, sent to me, and I thought it needed to be said out there, and I think it did. And it's over now, you know. And I said it because I felt that people kind of need to know that in case something was going on, you know. I felt kind of funky about that, you know, and I, you know, I mean, after the news came out, everybody felt kind of the same way. Like I said, give the guy another chance, but that's very seldom I talk about other people. Sinfuls here, LOL. Let's see, RC, agree, Michael. There we go. Philip Massey, Steve, do you recommend connecting with other expats when arriving to the Philippines? I'm concerned that some of them may be con men running from something, or not just guy looking for a better life. And that can be the case in some cases here. It's generally a small minority that is like that. But that small minority, sometimes they play off like they're normal expats here, and they're really not. And that's what you got to be careful of, Philip. And I think the majority of people, though, are good, decent people here. And you really got, it takes like 6 months to really get to know a person here, whether they're a good friend or not. Like me and Rich, or Sinfuls, have become really close friends. We don't get to see each other a lot because I do a lot of work, but we see each other enough and talk to each other enough, and we every once in a while we get to go out and do something. It's not very often, but we try to. We also have Francisco on here. We don't get to see him very often sometimes. Often your friends here, you don't get, your best friends are the people that you actually don't get to see that much, and it's kind of strange. I have Justin down the end here, and he's very close to me. He's a good guy. We have Rich across the street, another Rich. We have Rich Sinfuls, and we have Rich across the street. We have Daz down the street. We have a lot of good expats here who I love, because they're the greatest people. Don't give up on expats. Don't ever give up on expats. You'll find a good friend here. Wandering Wolf, are you seeing high food inflation there? Yes, we are. We're seeing a lot of food prices going up. Craig Jordan, Michael L., and Ken Sectionalism. Let's see. Ryan on Wi-Fi. Barry in the Philippines. Is that the expat in the jail cell in Cebu? I don't think it is. He said the guy's 80, I believe, Ryan. Okay, I think it's a different guy. It's not Barry Jordan. No. Michael L. says sectional. I kind of question the same thing. Sinfuls, let's tap the thumbs up, please, folks. RC at Philip, be very careful. Many are 7th graders. Bingo. Just what he said. There's a lot of guys over here that act like they're in the 7th grade. Like you see some of the comments sometimes on here occasionally. Like the last time we were on here 2 weeks ago. We had some idiot on here just destroying the channel. There's a lot of people here. They're very immature 60 and 70 and 50-year-old people. They just are, and they stick out like a sore thumb, and they want you to know that they're there, and they don't care that they embarrass themselves. They don't care. You'll see who they are. Jacko, I'm hoping to convince my wife to retire with me in QC. She said only if she learns how to speak Tagalog. Wow. I like QC. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I'd want to live there, though. I think, Jack, if you went there, you'd probably agree with me. It's not a nice place. I don't think it's. I like touring around there and having fun there when I go up there sometimes, but it's not one of my favorite places. I like some of the restaurants and malls around there, but I wouldn't consider it a great place to live. Eric, LOL, rammed, LOL. It means very busy. Okay. I thought it was crammed, and maybe spell check was changing it to rammed or something. I was like, what the heck is he talking about? Sinfuls, I agree on visa renewal. It took me longer to sign into the building and go upstairs. RC, I like Station 3, less crowded. I'm not sure which station I was on when I was there. It was so many years ago. Maybe someday I'll use the picture as the thumbnail, and you guys can see the thumbnail. Francisco Fletes, renewal SSRV, it's 2 years now. Yes, it is. Hopefully it will go back to 3 years next time. I hope so, Francisco. I hope so. That's what I actually have it till next year. Harry Bruckner, hello. My wife and I are open a dollar and peso accounts in Philippine National Bank on Monday in New York. Took about an hour and a half. Was about $150 total. Open all 3 accounts. Now, did you check to see if you can use it over here? Because some banks, they're not international accounts, so it'll only be good in the U.S. So make sure you check on that, Harry, or ask them, because some of those accounts over in those Philippine banks over there, if you open it over there, you can use the bank over there, but when you come over here, you cannot take. It's not an international account. So make sure you're sure about that stuff. That's what I heard anyway, at least about those accounts. So be careful, because most accounts have to be international accounts. Mike, and usually you have to put a lot of money in those. Mike Lauersdorf says, what are your thoughts or experience with Tanjai City? I don't know that much about that area, to be honest with you. I don't know anything about that area. Sorry I don't, Mike. I wish I could help you more on that. Eric, I stayed at the Shangri-La in Boracay, but traveled down into the heart of it for the vibe. Craig Jordan, Cebu is in the process of reconstruction, I believe. It may end up a junior version of Makati. That's what I'm hearing, or BGC in the final product. I heard that they're moving some of the poverty out of there and trying to build things on the outskirts and make the city a better place and more of a place where they can fit businesses in there, and also for retirees and a lot of other things too. They want to make it so it's a place where people would want to move to live. RC, there you go, Eric. Sinfuls, Eric, nice hotel. Bradley Green, hello, Steve Braden to gig. Looking forward to the next EPAP meal. Bradley, we'll let you know soon, man. Hopefully soon. Good to see you on here tonight, man. We will probably be doing one really soon, probably within 2 weeks. Craig Jordan, I was a fan of Cebu in the past, just disappointed now. Eric, bloody expensive. The Shangri-La. A week later, it was on offer. Izzy and Chris, Ricky, aka Sick Grandpa, is a joke. He's getting so much donations for his Barry guy, but uses those donations to fund his trips. That's according to Izzy and Chris. Let's see. Francisco Fletes, I think the more we talk about that guy, the more we help him out. So I think it's best to just leave him off here. I think it's best not to talk about the guy. That's why I try to stay off that. So I think it kind of gives him power when you talk about him. So I'd appreciate not talking about that. Okay, guys? Francisco Fletes says, the boat ride from the airport into town in Boracay is a little, excuse me, guys, annoying. You lose quite a bit of time going to and from the airport after doing a couple of times. You move on to another place. Dan Royals, can you get the VA to approve a civilian doctor to fix your sciatica? I'm actually in the process of looking into that right now. Yes, I can use FMP, but I want them to cover it directly because it's kind of costly. Sinful's the only place I would live in the city, but it might be gone pretty soon, I'm hoping. It seems like the ice packs, the chiropractor, and a lot of the other stuff is helping. The only place I would live in the city would be BGC myself, but I prefer my area, which is nice and green and open space. Sinful says, and I have all that anyone would need. Let's see. Jack Wolfganger, I lived in Cebu for a year, and my wife and I moved to Sibulon, 15 minutes outside of Duma. Love it. Here, quiet, peaceful life. We rent townhouse and 4-unit complex with private gate and pool. Sounds nice, Jack. RC says, at Francisco, like visiting the ATI. Joe Magical says, hi, Steve. Good morning from San Francisco. How you doing, Joe Magical? Izzy and Chris says, I've been contacted by the outsourcing company called VES from the VA for a CMP exam. Would they have a location here in Davao? Probably not. I would say it's probably going to be up in Manila, unfortunately. But I'm not sure about that. I think most of the people are up around Manila. At least the ones that that most of the people here see anyway. Sinful says, Izzy and Chris most likely will need to come to Manila. Exactly. Gil G, it took me a month and a half to get my SRIV, and I stayed in Muntinlupa and Makati. Yeah, it takes about 6 weeks, man. It's pretty quick. Izzy and Chris, Sinfuls, thank you. Eric, I live in Subic, Freeport. It's a very nice place with perfect internet, potable water, and no brownouts. Very over-policed, LOL. Francisco says, Sinfuls, I lived in BGC for 2 years. I think it was a good step down from the U.S., but now I'm glad to move in my area. We can always drive to BGC, LOL. BGC is a kind of a cool place. It's the malls are really nice there, but they're kind of boring. I noticed that when I was up in Quezon City, that the malls there were nice, and I think I actually liked them better than the ones at BGC. To be honest with you, I liked the malls there. They were nice. I actually liked them better than I did Mall of Asia, for that matter. Joe Magical, the moment you invest in a quality bed, you're going to wonder if you didn't get one sooner, your back will say thank you for it. I've never had back problems that much on this bed, believe it or not. Sinfuls, this emoji window on the side of the live chat box sucks. Let's see. BT and Betty says, not concentrated in Freeport. JT says, see you in a few weeks, bud. Texas Roadhouse. Sounds good, man. PH Expat Prepper. It is very rare for me to see a fellow expat out there in the province. If I do, they tend to be here for a week or so only, so that good for a beer and a chat, that is it. Damn Car says, remember that crabs will try to pull back into the trap and cannibalize you. Yes, they will. You know, that's very true. Fitz from Florida says, when and where is the next meetup? Would love to meet, and thank you for all that you've done for me moving over here. Yeah, Fitz, we'll be doing one in a few more weeks. I'm not sure of a date yet. I do know it will be a Texas Roadhouse over at the Evia Mall. If you want to join that one, you have to, email me at steven5975@yahoo.com, and then just give me all your information, your phone number, and I'll put you on the list. Okay. Stacy says, can you tell me, unless you're already on the list, I think you might be. Stacy, can you tell me the best way to get honest info about assisted living care there? I looked it up online, and there are places in Tagaytay. You just got to kind of research it. That's how I found out about it before, about nursing homes and assisted care here, assisted living. But here's my recommendation, Stacy, that you're better off not getting that. You're better off getting a caregiver to come into your house, and it'll be a lot cheaper than those places. And you'll have a better style of living and everything, and have that person, that caregiver, get all your food and all that stuff, possibly cook your food, help you get changed and all that stuff, and pay them whatever you feel that they deserve. And it'll probably end up being a lot cheaper. Philip Massey, but you can look it up online. That's how I did it, okay? If you need to, just email me and we can talk on the phone a little bit. Philip Massey says, where do the expats hang out where you are, Steve? The expats hang out a lot of times at my house. We have hangouts here once in a while. When I'm not busy, we do like a barbecue or something here. Or we go out to dinner, or we go swimming or something. And it's just a few of us. A lot of the guys are busy with other expats sometimes. They hang out with other expats, or they're hanging out with their girlfriends or whatever. Some of the guys hang out down the gym here sometimes. They get out and see Daz down the gym. Eric says, you see the disrespectful expats all the time? No, I see some of them around here that moved here, and we just, people that kind of either self-removed themselves, or we just stopped dealing with them, and we see them on occasion. We don't really say much to them. They don't say much to me. It's kind of nice that way, actually. BT and Betty says, I'm the only kind of where I live. Let's see. Jack, I grew up in QC, but I'm willing to live where my Italian wife wants in the Philippines. BT and Betty says, only expat. BT and Betty says, that's known of. Okay. BT and Betty's Filipino there. I'm the only one in my barangay. Okay. I'm certainly not the only one in my barangay. I can tell you that right now, because I brought most of them in. Philippines in full effect. Hello from Iloilo. Another Steve here, U.S. Navy vet living in the Philippines since 2015. Happily married since 2016. Newly dropping into your channel. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining us. Philip Massey says, Steve, do you eat like a Filipino or American on a daily basis? I eat like an American. Today I went to Subway, so that'll give you a hint of the way I eat. Ryan, I had a salad, and I had a sub, and I had some of those meatballs that they have there. Ryan on Wi-Fi says, have you ever been to SM Mega Mall? Yes, I believe I have. That sounds familiar. It sounds like one of the malls I went to. I believe that's one of the ones up in QC, I think, that you're talking about, correct? Or it's in Upper Manila. I've gone to most of the malls around there. Some of the malls I don't remember the names, because I said, hey, let's pull over here. Let's go in here. So we went there, and I checked them out. Some of them were pretty incredible. One of them had a concert, which I thought was kind of cool. Riley says, why do you need a bank account here in the Philippines? I lived in Mexico for 17 years with no bank account, and 15 years here in the Philippines, no bank account. I use my bank in the U.S. and use Zoom. Yeah, you can send money yourself. You don't have to get a bank account here, Riley. It just makes it kind of a little bit easier. Sinfuls, yes, I learned quite some time ago that a good mattress is worth every penny. I agree. My mattress is not that bad. Eric, I love BGC, just the vibe. We lived there for 2 years, but pollution and traffic is unbearable. Plus, Some plus Uber is expensive. Michael Onstad is on board. See you at the next one. Good night. See you later, Michael. Michael is our insurance guy. So if you guys are ever looking for good insurance, you can look up Michael Onstad. He does our insurance. You can go on Messenger. CE says, isn't SRRV a lifetime visa? Yes, it is. But you have to renew it. And it's 2 years now, not 1 year. Okay. And Sinful's just put on the Stephen5975 at yahoo.com. He also says, Eric, I will choose Nuvali over BGC. Just saying, if, for example, wife wanted to live in the city, it would be BGC. But I certainly prefer no city life. I agree with him, and I don't like city life myself. Francisco Fletes, be careful with your U.S. bank. Might be good to have a backup bank with the know your customer post 9/11 stuff. Banks can close your account. Credit unions seem to be better. Credit unions run under different rules, and I've told people this for years about the banks. Be careful because they have shut down people, and you are correct on that, sir. Philip Massey, are you single, Steve, or do you have a girlfriend? I really don't talk about that right now. I did break off with my girlfriend, but I just don't put my private life out there right now. I just don't. I just keep it to myself. It's something I just learned not to bring my private life onto here because it invites the dingbats out there to start talking crap and stuff like that when they don't know. It's better off when they don't know anything, about your life, because then they start tearing you down. And you know what? I like to keep it that way. Craig Jordan, the Philippine Info Channel. Which QC malls are you referring to? I mentioned it in one of the last ones. What the heck was the name of it? Trinoma Mall. That's a good mall. I actually like the Trinoma Mall. It's a big mall. It's one of my favorites there. Let's see. SM North EDSA was big back in the day. Mega Mall in Ortega's big deal back in the 90s. I've been to those malls. I've been to a lot of malls up in that area. Some of them I don't remember the names, but I've been to almost all those malls. Eric says, we moved to BGC to Subic. If we need to pop to BGC, just 2 hours away down the toll roads, quick. Tom's Away says, SM Mega Mall is in Mandaluyong. That's a nice mall. Francisco Fletes says, there's Sealy Posturepedic and Tempur-Pedic here in the Philippines, both deliver. And those are at BGC, by the way. I've seen them there. The mattress is great and not that expensive if you only buy the mattress. I've seen them at BGC. I don't know if they're still there. That was a long time ago. Jack the only malls I remember were SM City and Ali Mall. Edward Levin says, I didn't know you were a vet. Sorry, thanks for your service. I'm into eating healthy these days. With what fruits and vegetables are harder to find or expensive there? Apples are a little bit expensive here. Good apples. You can get almost any fruit you want in season. Cherries are really hard to get here, very expensive. Strawberries, for good ones, are really expensive, unless you get the ones from Baguio. I hope that answers you, Edward. You can, pineapples. I'm growing some right out here, so that'll give you an idea on that. Fitz from Florida reference local banks. Most condos here in BGC want post-dated checks for rent. So after you get a bank account, you can write the checks. If you have two banks stateside, you can pull out $30K a day. Philip Massey, Steve, how do you get around, motorbike or car? Today I went over to SM Dasma, and I went over there and I took the bus over there and I came back on the jeepney. I wanted to go over there in AC, so I just hopped on the bus. It's easy enough. It's a comfortable ride. I sat on the front seat, and it's easy, and it's cheap. Sinful says, I like Lanzoni's. Sure, I messed the spelling, LOL. Rattel says, the mall I like was the one that was torn down near Ninoy Aquino Airport for the bus station. Went back and forth to Tagaytay. Edward Levinson says, how about veggies? Funny, all the mall talk. Their malls are going out of business, going away here in the States. Yeah, the malls here are actually growing, which is kind of strange. Sinful says Fitz from Florida. Some banks can temporarily raise ATM limits very easily. I have pulled out like 60K plus in a day. Yeah, you can call your banks, or you can set it sometimes on your bank when you go onto your online account. You can actually set that in most banks. Some will not let you do that. You have to call them to do it, but some will let you do it. And I have mine set, I think, at 500, only because I live here and I don't want people going into my account if somebody finds my card or something like that and figures out how to use it. Tom's Away says grapes and broccoli are expensive here too. Yes, actually, I go and get steak and what was it, beef and broccoli over at Panda Express, and even that's getting kind of expensive. They do have a lot of broccoli in there, so it's worth it because the broccoli probably costs as much as the steak does. Sinfuls, I can do my online in a few seconds. That's the same here with my credit union. Stacy, Stacy says, did you ever consider living Thailand? And if so, why did you choose the Philippines? I had been to the Philippines before. I had, was here for quite a long enough time to really get to know the Philippines pretty well. I did not like Thailand for many reasons because of the language barrier. I knew that there was a lot of good things over there. The other thing is, if you got married to a girl over there, you got to pay a dowry type thing, okay? And that can be kind of difficult because sometimes they want monthly pay, and I just don't agree with that stuff. Yeah, you can still live with a girl over there, but, I just the language thing just kind of bothers me. And it is kind of difficult to talk with some of the girls over there, I heard. Let's see. RLV is on board. He says PH June inflation 5.4%, down from May 6.1%. Let's hope it keeps going down, for our sake. Eric, steak is the worst, and it's a poor quality. Yes, most of the times it is, but there is some good steak here. And Texas Roadhouse is one of the places that has good steak. And there is that steak place over at Dasma too, and that's a chain. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, I did a video on it a while back. I haven't been there in a while. Francisco Fletes says you can change USAA ATM limits on app very easily. Renee Jimenez says, are Brussels sprouts expensive? I've never seen Brussels sprouts here. I got to be honest with you, and I love Brussels sprouts too, and I love cabbage. And Brussels sprouts have a different flavor a little bit than cabbage, but there is something to be said about Brussels sprouts, and they're really good for you too. It's funny that you mention it because I've been hankering for some Brussels sprouts, so I wish I could find them. I've even looked for them at S&R, and I heard that they do have them there sometimes, but I think they sell out quick. Sinfuls, Francisco Flett says, yes, that is my bank, USAA. Doctor Who, it says, message deleted, so not sure what the guy wrote. Fitz from Florida. There's certain subjects we're staying off of tonight, guys, like we mentioned earlier. One was that vlogger. We're not going to discuss that anymore, and if you write something that's nasty, we're not going to allow it on here. Fitz from Florida, Sinfuls, for large amounts, I simply use Western Union money to myself. It only takes 5 business days. William just watched a video from that sick grandpa guy. I think he may have mental health issues. Yeah, we don't even like to talk about the guy because it just gives him power. So that's why we stay off that. Michael L. Brussels sprouts, green balls of death. Yeah, a lot of people hate them. I, as a kid, actually hated them, and then I started liking them for some reason. Figure that one out. I had them one time for Thanksgiving dinner. I actually fell in love with them again. Edward says, how about spinach? Spinach you can get. Sweet potato, yes. Onions, yes. Mushrooms you can get. Bell peppers, carrots, all that stuff you can get. Sometimes it's hit or miss at some of the markets. So just FYI. Most of that stuff you can get though. Okay. BJ, what, you pay alimony to parents to marry their daughter? No thanks. Yes, that's true in Thailand and also in some of the other countries around here, some of the other Asian countries. The Philippines does not have that, so that's a good thing. MG Toe 51, John from New Bedford, Mass. Doing a 30-day next spring. Would love to chat. What do you recommend for vaccines before my trip? I would ask your doctor about that. What would I recommend? Some people don't recommend vaccines. I would say hepatitis for one, because hepatitis is like 13.6 or 7 or 9% of the people. Yeah, 16.9% I think it is of the people have some form of hepatitis here. So just be aware of that. I would get hepatitis. Stacy, I appreciate this chat, your knowledge and willingness to share it. Thanks, Stacy. Sinfuls, Fitz from Florida, have you used China Bank ATM? They allow 20K at a time. China Bank is actually a good bank. And I'm glad Sinfuls brought that up, because China Bank is an interesting bank because it's not owned by China. Okay, it was actually started by Chinese in the Philippines and Chinese Filipinos. Fitz from Florida, agree, Thailand is beautiful and great food, but the English barrier is brutal once you get outside the cities. Same Cambodia, Vietnam, and Indonesia. I agree. Craig Jordan, agree. Good steak is diamond in the Philippines. Jimbo L, Brussels sprouts topped with cheddar cheese sauce, nothing better than that. Brussels sprouts are actually good with mac and cheese, believe it or not. If you make the mac and cheese kind of soupy, add extra milk to it. And also it's good with asparagus. Okay, Phil M, will the VA fill your meds that you get from the VA stateside? No, only for your service connections. Or will you have to get them from somewhere else? You'll probably have to get them from somewhere else if they're not service connected. Okay, Alfred C says, does anyone use Shopee or Lazada? How is it? Shopee and Lazada are both excellent. I like Lazada more than I do Shopee, but it's a matter of preference. Philip Massey, I heard they speak English in Malaysia. Is that an option for expats looking for a better life? Malaysia's okay. I don't think I'd want to live there. I'm not sure what they have for visas there, to be honest with you. Sinful says, Alfred C, I've used both, but prefer Lazada. Shopee customer service is terrible. To get back with Malaysia, it might be worth looking into, but I've heard people that have gone down there liked it. Okay, so no negatives I've heard, except that I think it's a little more expensive down there in some sections. Tom's away. Haven't seen raspberries or blackberries here. I saw raspberries the other day actually, and they were expensive because raspberries don't travel well. I'm not sure if they were grown here or grown somewhere else up north. Francisco Fletas, Amazon killed malls in the U.S. Most retail stores moved online and cut overhead. Michael L says, Philip, Malaysia is heavily Muslim. Yes, it is. And that could be a downside for some people because a lot of people don't like to move to Muslim countries. And it is heavily Muslim, and I'm not sure how they treat Christians there. Phil M says, they are service connected. You can get treated for service connection through FMP. The doctor, the service that they give you there is very limited because it is a clinic. Just keep that in mind, Phil. Okay? It's not a hospital. But if you want to talk about that more, you can contact me sometime at steven5975@yahoo.com, and I can talk to you about the way it works over here. Okay? And they do have, you can get help over here. You can get the services you need, but you got to work through FMP for some things. Zane Underwood says, Brussels sprouts pan-fried with bacon, vinegar, and sugar. That sounds pretty good. Sounds different. I'm not so sure about the sugar. Craig Jordan says, KL in Malaysia might be the best snapshot of the country for the visiting foreigner. David Hess, any gooseberries there? I have not seen gooseberries since I was a kid. Actually, we planted a gooseberry plant that I ordered from some kind of nursery when I was a kid because my father had talked about them. We planted it, and it was still there even, if I remember, I think it was even there when my father left the house. And that was 2009, I think it was, somewhere around there. I haven't heard that word in a long time. Nobody knows that much about gooseberries. Simful says, Steven5975@yahoo.com. And it takes me 3 days sometimes to get back to you guys, and I apologize if I haven't get back to some of you, because we've been really, really swamped, and I've had the back issues. So, and tomorrow I'm going away trying to get some things done with my back again. So, Lazy Larry Lee says, Malaysia does have large areas of Christians. Yes, it does. Sinfuls, I have heard the food in Kuala Lumpur is amazingly good. I've heard that they have good food there too. Riley, five days to get dollars from Western Union. My dollar's ready for pickup in 2 minutes with Zoom from about $9 up to $2K. I get U.S. dollars in exchange to pesos. That's not that bad. I use Western Union, man, and it goes right into my other account. It's quick. It's usually within an hour. Sinfuls, I want to go there for an extended time someday. All right, we're up to like, let's see, we got 105 people on here, 78 thumbs up, 74 minutes in. And I think we're going to end in about 5 minutes, guys, because I'm a little bit tired tonight, and I got a lot of stuff I got to do tomorrow, and I got to start answering some emails tonight, too. So we're probably going to end in 5 minutes, but we'll keep this going. Edward Levinson says, CDC who recommended these vaccinations? Hep A and B, I agree with that. Typhoid, yellow fever, Japanese encephalitis, rabies. I would actually recommend rabies. Meningitis, polio, measles, most of those things you have already. Mumps, rubella, chickenpox, most of those you have already. Shingles, probably, yes. Pneumonia and flu, yes, I would recommend those. And I would not recommend getting them all at once, guys. Wait a month, get another shot, or wait 2 weeks or so, get another shot. Let's see, Francisco Fletes says, yes, the food in Callao is great, spicy, heavy on chicken and beef, no pork. See, Craig Jordan says, Singapore, the next door neighbor, is the most Western-oriented country in Southeast Asia. There you go, says Malaysia is 3 out of 5 is Muslim, although roads here and fences have been torn out. RLV says, hey, Stephen, how do you commute from Tracy to Trinoma? I usually sometimes take a bus up to Manila, and then from Manila, I'll take a Grab. But sometimes I'll take a rented van up there, which is a little bit costly, but I don't take the same way every time. I do go different ways to try to see the best way to save money. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. There you go. Have a nice day. Malaysia is also predominantly English speaking. Sinfuls, F1 race. BJ, have a good evening, Steve. Thanks, man. Dan Carr says, for anyone in the States, I just got back from Save a Lot, and ribeye steak is $6 a pound, man. Let's see, I got day-old steaks for $3 a pound, and they're tender and juicy. Francisco says, Singapore was a British colony, big-time Western influence, plus it's very it's a very wealthy country. Yes, it is. Stacy, what health insurance do expats need to get good care there? I would say Pacific Cross, but there's other ones out there. But Pacific Cross has a lot of good choices for people that are on the lower level or on the higher level. So I would check out, Stacy, check out Michael Onstad, Onstad on Messenger. Michael Onstad. He was just on here earlier. And you can talk to him, and he's well worth talking to. He's actually a member of our group and goes to our dinners too. And he sells 10% of Pacific Cross's insurance, by the way. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He does. Phil M says, we use Navy Federal Union to transfer money. Michael L says, I would take Singapore over Malay any day of the week. Sinfuls, Michael L, yes, me too. Sinfuls, thanks for the good chat tonight. Guys, we'll see you guys. I'm sorry, guys, for the rest of you guys that I'm not going to be able to answer. We will see you probably next week. If we are not on here next week, we will be on the week after. So just remember that. Sometimes I do go away or something like that, or if I'm not feeling well, or if I take off for that weekend. But I should be on here next week, okay? I should be. But if I'm not on here by 9:30, that usually means just tune in the next week, okay? And if we're not on that week, then the week after. But generally, we're on here. We try to get on here at least 3 times a month. We try to anyway. But anyway, guys, God bless. God bless. Take care. We'll see you guys soon. And I hope I helped most of you guys out. God bless. And thanks, Sinful, for helping us out tonight. God bless, guys. Take care.